I am here in Concrete, Washington. Katya and I are getting ready to go check out some eagles. We just had breakfast downtown, so we're just kind of giving you a little bit of the scenery down here because this whole month of January there'll be an Eagle Festival every weekend. I guess there are just eagles everywhere, so we're super excited to go check them out. Let's go. All right, I am here at the Skagit River Interpretive Center, and I'm with Catherine. I'll have her introduce herself a little bit of what she does here.
I am the coordinator at the Skagit River Bald Eagle Interpretive Center, which has been in existence for about 20 years. Yeah, I've worked here since October. I am a seasonal coordinator. The center's only open until the end of January. So we're open December and January to coincide with the return of the migratory bald eagles. But we're really a lot more than just eagles, because the mission of the organization that supports the center is to really teach people about and give them an opportunity to appreciate the whole Skagit River ecosystem. So everybody loves eagles, but if there wasn't the dying chum salmon, there wouldn't be eagles. And if there weren't the big evergreen trees along the Skagit River, there wouldn't be habitat for the salmon. We end up talking a lot more than just eagles. We talk about all the things that are connected to the eagles. So my job is really, as a coordinator, is to provide opportunities for the public, school groups and visitors to come and learn about the Skagit River ecosystem, and also to do behind-the-scenes coordination with all of our wonderful volunteers who have given their time really generously to work with the public, because we're a nonprofit. We only have one paid staff member, and that's me. And so it's really a labor of love. And I think the other thing that distinguishes our volunteers is that almost all of them are upriver residents. So this is a local effort. Yeah, this is a matter of people who have worked for decades to maintain safe and really appealing ways for the public to interact with wildlife in a way that respects the wildlife, but also gives visitors a chance to learn and get up close and engage.
It is beautiful here, so we're really excited to take a look kind of along the river more. But so because of the eagles are kind of like a big deal because they're very attractive to our eyes, it's also another opportunity for you to teach people about what's going on here.
Right.
And you did mention a little bit earlier before we started filming about the kind of eagle, like there weren't as many eagles last year compared to this year.
Yes.
So what was kind of going on with that?
Well, the Forest Service has been keeping dibs on eagle counts for going on a couple of decades, and they do a census every week to look at how many eagles there are along the stretch of the different reaches of the Skagit. So for Marble Mount to Rockport, which is the stretch we're looking at mostly for our visitors, it starts out in mid-November, and by the beginning of December, we're looking at the chum salmon in the counts of about 50. That increases by about threefold to about 120 to 150 just around Christmas time. And then it starts to dramatically fall off. So now we're looking at the second week of January, and we're only looking at 41 bald eagles that were counted from Marble Mount to Rockport. And that's because the chum salmon, when they spawn, they die. And when you have the kind of rains that we've had in January, a lot of rain, the carcasses float downriver. So the eagles are not going to hang around where there isn't food.
They're going where the food is.
They're going where the food is.
Yeah.
So the food is either up at the Marble Mount Fish Hatchery, where they have Smaller Creek that captures the dead salmon so it can't float downriver, or they head north to the Nooksack, or they go south to the Stillaguamish. So the eagles that are here are less than there would be in a peak chum salmon run year. So.
And is this year still not a peak below average?
It's predicted, actually, it's better than the prediction from the fisheries people. Last year was one of the worst on record. It's been about 50% better in terms of eagle counts than it was last year. So I suspect that there were a little bit more chum salmon returning just by the greater number of eagles that we had this year compared to last year.
I hope there's more next year.
I very much hope. But, you know, I try. It is what it is, and our job as volunteers and as people who really want people to appreciate what's out here, people, if they don't come and experience it themselves, they're not going to care, and they're not going to protect for future generations. And so every kid that you bring out on a school trip, or every family member that comes up from Seattle or down from Bellingham, or over from Lake Sammamish. All of those people are remembering things. Even on a day when there aren't a lot of eagles, on our guided walk today we had 70 people, and I kept hearing from visitors, it was great, but they were looking at those low clouds that were there and they were saying, this is so beautiful, and we live here and we forget how beautiful it is. Yeah. So there's so much that makes it attractive to people and worth the drive.
Yep.
Besides the eagles.
Besides the eagles.
Yeah. Up in our carport, we have a replica eagle nest, and that was constructed over the course of a whole season for 2 months. The coordinator about 5 years back worked with all the school kids that visit, and they picked up sticks, and they brought back the sticks, and then they engineered layer on layer on layer, building it up. And so it's a pretty good replica. It really is. And that would be the equivalent of a first-year effort for a bald eagle pair, because they pretty much mate for life. And they are very energy efficient animals. They will go and build on, up and out. They don't start all over again. So that would be the equivalent in size. If you see that as being a big nest, it's not. That's a beginner. It would take an eagle pair at least like a month to build up a nest. And that's why when they return to their breeding grounds, the ones that are migratory that are here are going to be leaving back for Alaska and Canada. And they have to fly about a month. They can only fly about 30 miles a day. They roost at night. But when they get back to where they came from, they want to hope to return to that nest that they built last year.
Oh, yeah.
It's much better. If you're starting out and you're a new eagle and you've never mated before, then you got a lot of work ahead of you.
So what would a good vantage point be to go check out some eagles this season?
For this season, given the low chum salmon runs, this time of year, middle of January, I would encourage people to go up to the fish hatchery. In fact, we even have a post on our Facebook page that I put that says, "Want to see more eagles?" Yeah. Yes, I have a Google Map link to the fish hatchery.
Okay. Awesome.
It's there on our Facebook, because people are disappointed. I mean, they're happy to come here, but they hope to see eagles, and one or two is kind of disappointing. Consistently, we're getting, half a dozen up to a dozen eagles up there, just because it's a reliable source of salmon. So it's only 15 minutes further up 20, and we're encouraging people to go up there.
Stop by here first, though.
Of course. We can talk to you about eagles. Next weekend we have one of the head geologists for the North Cascades Park talking about glaciers. Mike will be here on Saturday or Sunday, I think. Pete Haas from the Skagit Forage Fish. That's a really good citizen science group that monitors and works with forage fish, the little smelts and small fish. If we don't have the small fish, you don't have anything for the big fish to eat. So he'll be speaking, and our last speaker is going to be two speakers. We have speakers on Saturday and Sunday. It's going to be someone talking about native plants, and she's actually going to be bringing in materials. It is. She's talking about traditional uses among native people, and also medicinal uses among pioneers. She's bringing in plants, bringing some teas and samples, and then she's taking us out on a wildlife walk. And the last one will be birding in winter, Upper Skagit. What was that bird? So what was that bird exactly? So that's our upcoming speakers. And every weekend at 11 o'clock, we have our guided nature walk.
I wish we did that. I wish we made it on that guided nature walk, which had about 70 people today.
70 people. Yeah, I have to give thanks to Matt Riggin, who is the field ranger for United States Forest Service down in Darrington, who does a wonderful job for us. So thanks, Matt. It was a great hike.
Thank you so much. I think that's it. Thank you. Seriously, thank you so much. It was really great.